Hello everyone, and welcome. Today, we'll be exploring the topic of understanding the debate with facts, not opinions. Our focus will be on the new UGC bill and providing a neutral explanation. This is the first slide, so I want to briefly introduce what we'll cover. We'll look at the key aspects of this bill, clarify common misconceptions, and emphasize the importance of factual information. Let's get started and look forward to an engaging discussion ahead. Today, we're looking at a topic that's been widely discussed across many circles: education reform. It's a subject that clearly sparks a lot of conversation and debate. You'll notice that reactions from stakeholders, whether they're teachers, parents, policymakers, or students, are quite mixed. Some see the potential for positive change, while others are more cautious or even skeptical. That's why it's so important for us to base our understanding on facts, rather than assumptions or opinions. Having a clear, evidence-based perspective helps us make informed decisions and understand the true impact of these reforms. This ties directly into our overall theme of improving education, because meaningful change only happens when we understand the issues thoroughly and approach them thoughtfully. Today, we're focusing on higher education governance reform, which is a crucial part of our overall strategy to improve the quality of education. This reform aims to make the governance structures more effective and transparent, ensuring that institutions are better equipped to serve students and society. It's aligned with the NEP 2020, which emphasizes a holistic and flexible approach to higher education, promoting autonomy and innovation. The core focus here is on enhancing quality and accountability, making sure that institutions are responsible and committed to delivering the best possible education and research. Now, let's talk about the new UGC bill. What does it really mean? This bill is designed to overhaul the existing regulatory framework, giving more autonomy to universities while establishing clearer accountability mechanisms. It's about creating a more dynamic, responsive system that can adapt to the changing needs of our education landscape. By doing so, the bill aims to foster innovation, improve governance, and ultimately elevate the standards of higher education across the country. Now, let's take a closer look at the key objectives of the bill. First, we have centralized regulation. This means that instead of having each institution or region set its own rules, there will be a unified governing body overseeing everything. This helps ensure consistency across the board. Next, we have uniform academic standards, which are crucial for maintaining quality and fairness in education. When standards are consistent, students can expect the same level of education regardless of where they study. Transparency is also a key focus. By making processes clearer and more open, we build trust and accountability within the system. And finally, faster decisions, streamlining approval processes and reducing delays, are essential for adapting quickly to changing needs and opportunities. All of these objectives tie back to the overarching goal of creating a more efficient, fair, and reliable educational framework. So, one of the main criticisms we see relates to reduced university autonomy. Essentially, universities are experiencing less independence in making their own decisions, which can impact their ability to innovate and tailor their programs to specific needs. This decline in autonomy often comes with increased central control, meaning that authorities or governing bodies are exerting more influence over university policies and operations. While some level of oversight is necessary, too much central control can stifle creativity and responsiveness at the institutional level. Another challenge tied to these changes is compliance. Universities are now facing more complex requirements and regulations to adhere to, which can be quite burdensome. This compliance pressure might divert resources away from teaching and research, and can sometimes hinder the institution's ability to focus on its core mission. All these points tie back to the broader theme of how reforms and policy shifts are impacting higher education. While some control and regulation are necessary to ensure quality and accountability, the criticism revolves around whether these measures go too far, limiting the flexibility and independence that universities traditionally relied on. When it comes to social media debates, we often see strong online opinions that can really shape perceptions. Many of these claims are based more on how people perceive things rather than on solid facts. In fact, not all statements made online are directly linked to the actual legal text or official sources. This highlights how important it is to critically evaluate what we see and hear in these discussions. As we've been exploring throughout this presentation, understanding the difference between perception and fact is key to navigating the digital landscape responsibly. So, moving on to what the bill does not specify, there are a few important points to keep in mind. First, it makes a clear point that there are no references to caste or community. That means the bill is designed to be neutral in that regard, avoiding any targeting or favoritism based on social groups. Second, it doesn't include any direct discrimination clauses. In other words, it doesn't spell out specific rules or punishments for direct acts of discrimination. Instead, the focus seems to be on broader administrative measures rather than individual acts. And finally, it's important to note that the bill is primarily administrative in focus. It's aimed at setting up processes and frameworks rather than addressing social issues directly or making moral judgments. All of these points highlight that the bill is structured to avoid certain contentious areas, keeping the scope narrow and focused on administrative functionality. This helps us understand its overall intent and limitations within the framework of social policy. So let's take a moment to differentiate these key concepts: equality, equity, and privilege. When I talk about equality, I mean giving everyone the same rules or resources, regardless of their individual circumstances. It's like treating everyone exactly the same. Now, equity is a bit different. It's about providing support based on each person's specific needs. So, instead of a one-size-fits-all approach, we recognize that some people might need more help to reach the same level as others. Privilege, on the other hand, refers to systemic advantages that some groups have simply because of how society is structured. It's not about individual effort, but about benefits that are built into the system itself. Understanding these distinctions is important because it helps us see where fairness might require different approaches. Equality aims for uniformity, but sometimes equity is necessary to ensure real fairness. And recognizing privilege helps us identify and address systemic barriers. All of these concepts are interconnected and are vital to creating a more just and inclusive environment, which is ultimately the goal of our overall discussion today. Let's talk about some of the key benefits supporters see with these improvements. First, improved quality control is a major factor. It helps ensure that the standards are consistently upheld, which builds trust and credibility. When quality is maintained at a high level, it encourages more genuine participation and supports the integrity of the entire system. Next, we have the reduction of fake institutions. This is crucial because it helps eliminate those that might be trying to take advantage of the system or deceive others. By minimizing these fake entities, we protect the reputation and reliability of the platform. Finally, there's the standardized framework. Having a clear, consistent structure in place makes processes smoother and more predictable. It provides a common ground for everyone involved, which ultimately promotes fairness and transparency. All these points tie back to the overall goal: creating a more trustworthy, reliable, and professional environment that benefits everyone involved. Let's take a moment to consider some of the common concerns critics raise. First, the one-size-fits-all approach. Many argue that applying a uniform solution across different contexts can overlook unique needs and nuances, potentially leading to less effective outcomes. It's important to recognize that what works in one situation might not be suitable in another. Next, there are autonomy issues. Critics worry that implementing certain strategies could infringe on individual or organizational independence, raising questions about control and decision-making authority. Maintaining autonomy is crucial for fostering innovation and engagement. Finally, we have implementation risks. Even well-designed plans can encounter unforeseen obstacles during execution. These risks include resource constraints, resistance to change, or technical challenges that could hinder success. Overall, these critics' perspectives remind us to carefully weigh the potential downsides and ensure that any approach we take is flexible, respects autonomy, and is robust enough to handle implementation challenges. So, to wrap things up, this is a reform-focused bill, meaning it's designed to bring about meaningful change. The key thing to remember here is that the debate around it really centers on the impact it will have. People are weighing the potential benefits against possible challenges, and that's what makes this discussion so important. Informed discussion truly matters because when we understand the nuances, we can make better decisions about whether this reform aligns with our goals and values. It's not just about passing a bill, it's about understanding its real-world effects. And as we conclude, I want to emphasize that thoughtful, well-informed conversations are essential as we move forward. They help ensure that the reforms we pursue are effective and truly serve the community's best interests. Thank you.